What's going on, guys? It's K-Dub here with another episode of Crypto Zombie. So on today's episode, we have the opportunity to sit down and talk with Witek, the CTO at Enjin. Now, a lot of you are probably familiar with Enjin. You may have heard about the recent news with Samsung, but in reality, these guys are so much more than just a wallet. In fact, they're tackling the $135 billion industry that is gaming. That's right. They're helping to onboard developers into the blockchain space. They have their SDK that's recently gone live on the Unity Asset Store. So today, I want to really dive into the deeper layers that are Enjin. We're going to talk about ERC-1155s, Efinity, we're going to talk about EnjinX, and what else is in store for the future of this project. So if that sounds interesting to you, then definitely check this out. What's going on, everyone? I'm here with the CTO of Enjin, Witek Radomski. How's it going, man?
It's going good, thanks.
Yeah, thank you so much for hopping on the channel. I appreciate it. I literally just reached out to you guys and you agreed to come on, and it's really awesome because a lot of people from the community are definitely pretty excited. You've had a lot of exciting things going on lately, so I thought we'd kind of unpack it in one spot and just sort of see where you guys have been. It's been a while since we had you on the channel, so I'm really pumped to get these updates. Yeah,
we've been doing so much.
Yeah, so you guys actually just got done with GDC. How was that?
It was crazy. It was just such an amazing experience. There were so many interested game developers, so many things that happened. We met so many cool people. Basically, everybody was asking us about game design and how this will work in their games, which was a lot different than the last time we were at GDC, which were like, people are like, what is blockchain? Can you explain it to me? And now they're like, how can we make this economic model work in our games? So that's really cool to hear.
Yeah, that actually shows that people are concerned about the actual infrastructure and not so much the get rich quick, this is gonna moon, Lambo. And I love that because that is a big difference that I've noticed just in the space between last year and now is, the quality of projects and the type of people that are in the space as well. So actually, for anyone who maybe just doesn't know by now, do you want to just sort of tell us what exactly is Enjin? Because it's a little more robust than just the coin itself.
Sure. So we've been around for about 10 years. We built a social network platform for gamers to sort of make their own communities, forums, and chats and things like that. And that grew to just about 20 million users over like the last 10 years. And now, back in 2017, we saw an interesting opportunity to start playing with blockchain. And a lot of our users were actually making money by running Minecraft servers, and then people would join those Minecraft servers and buy virtual items and things like that. And then we saw Ethereum becoming really mature, and we decided to do something completely new, make a real impact in the gaming industry, and let people own virtual items on the blockchain. So we've been building, like for the last 2 years, we've been building a huge set of tools, a super secure wallet for gaming items, integrations for like Unity and other game engines, and like a whole set of tools, Blockchain Explorer, everything that you need to actually use items in video games and own them.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree with you 100%. And that was one of the problems with pretty much all these games, even growing up. I mean, I'm an old school gamer from the 80s, 90s. And, I hated even the ones you had to restart them, or the newer ones, you can have your item on the game. But then what happens when I get a different game, or if I get a new phone, or you know what I'm saying, or something like that. And then all of a sudden, I got to buy these items again. So
like one thing that actually happened to me a while back. Like I used to play one of the old MMORPG games, and I was one of the early players of one of these games, and I got this really rare backpack, this like Pioneer's backpack from one of the early players, and it was like a little overpowered, but it was really cool and really rare. And then I was doing other things. I moved on from the game for a while. A couple of years later, I went back into the game, and I found out that my entire character was wiped. All my items were gone. That rare backpack was gone. And what the game developer decided to do was basically clear out all the old accounts who hadn't played for 1 or 2 years. And that was like so devastating because I had a whole guild. I had all these friends. I had all these items and characters that I'd built up over so long. I had this whole identity, and I wanted to go back in there, and like I had to start from scratch. And so like this is really solving one of those problems, which is, you don't lose your items. You'll have them forever.
Yeah, it sounds a lot like the banks freezing inactive bank accounts, right? There was a
Yeah.
72-year-old woman who couldn't access her funds because she hadn't touched it in 5 years. Well, so what, right? It's still my stuff. What does it matter if I
Yeah.
haven't used it in the past 5 years? I think that's really cool. And the thing is you've taken it to the next level too, because we have the ERC-721s, right? Those are the non-fungibles we'd probably think of like crypto kitties or something like that.
Yeah.
But you guys actually have the 1155s, which allow you to do so much more than you could do. Plus, it actually saves you on gas as well. So you wanted to go
Yeah.
into that a bit?
Yeah, so we started building this standard a long time ago, probably in late 2017, because we saw that games have really complex types of items, and some games have thousands of different kinds of items. I think World of Warcraft has over 100,000 different, complete, unique types of items. So with ERC-20 tokens, all you can do is you deploy that token onto the Ethereum blockchain, and you have one stack of one item, like you have 1,000,000 gold or whatever, and that's all the ERC-20 standard can do. It can just make a fungible, stackable item. And then ERC-721, all you can do is make a non-fungible. So it means you have unique crypto kitties or unique characters or unique weapons that you only have one copy of each unique thing. And that really limits you because with ERC 721, you can only send somebody one item at a time. You have to say, I'm sending this one. ERC 20, you can only send that one stack of items around. So in games, you want to trade tons of items. You want to represent, gold or arrows like fungibles, and then you want to represent unique, legendary, signed things, whatever, things that you crafted, unique copies. So we made this new standard ERC-1155 that lets you define any kind of game item, any kind of fungible, non-fungible, and all you need to do is it's in one contract. So the contract acts like a vending machine. You can tell it, I want to create, gold. I want to create jewels. I want to create swords, weapons, and then it'll just spit those out. And for the game developer making these items, it's like orders of magnitude less expensive in gas costs. And then you can also send items. You can send them in batches. Like you can send 200 items in one transaction, completely different items, and save a lot on gas costs there too.
Now, I have a question regarding just the items themselves. Now, how like advanced can we get here with the items? Is it always the same item, or say like I have a particular weapon and I use it in battle and something happens to it? Can you have like something physically happen to an item that would then be recorded and it would exist like that on the blockchain? Is that something that's possible now too?
Totally. You can have a damaged weapon. You can have a cursed weapon, an enchanted weapon, and that can happen while you're playing the game. One of these games, one of the game developers that started using our platform just a couple of weeks ago, made a little video. The game's called Six Dragons, and it's in development. And he just showed how easy it was to make enchanting a sword or crafting, basically putting an enchantment spell, and then he crafted some kind of fire arrow or something like that. But it was really cool. You can do anything you want with the metadata. And this can either be on the blockchain, so it'll be permanently affected, or it can just be centralized in the metadata JSON file too. So,
well, I was going to ask you that particularly. I mean, there might be some things that blockchain is better suited for. I mean, do you see full games on blockchains, right? There has to be some limitations clearly to that. Where do you sort of see us right now? Where are we in relationship? What are the pros and cons, I guess?
Well, okay, so blockchain is a really big, slow log. It's kind of like a really big, slow database that is very expensive to use. So obviously, if you have items in your game that are like health potions, and people are picking up tens of thousands of those and using them all the time, it might not be worth putting that on the blockchain at the moment, because right now our platform works on the mainnet, directly on Ethereum mainnet. So it's most valuable when you have an item that could be worth a lot of money or a lot of power in the game. Like that epic sword or armor or whatever it is, that, collectible item that you have. But as we build layer 2 scaling solutions for Ethereum and for other blockchains, it's going to become more feasible to put more transactions, do more things on the blockchain. I know that a lot of projects and a lot of games are experimenting with on-chain kind of gaming, like you would think like chess on the blockchain or some kind of every move is on the chain and it's fully secured by a smart contract. But that also limits you in some ways because those kind of games, you're dealing with a deterministic program, and a lot of the games that people like to play are things like skill-based shooters, RPGs, things like that. And it's really impractical to put all that data on the blockchain. So what we focused on is really the assets people can own, making that the richest sort of system to interact with assets. Because I think that's what really gives the blockchain power, giving you ownership of something.
Exactly. So that you do see a lot of that with, gambling and stuff like that to verify the hashes. But it's crazy how these people will pay for these things. I mean, I remember when they sort of just came out with in-game purchases just for mobile games. And I was like, who the heck would pay real money for this stuff? And it's funny because I ended up being that guy. Because you get frustrated. You're like, I can't beat this, man. And I know if I buy that for $3, I can just skip this, or I can get a certain, quality to my character. So, and
Yeah.
The other thing too is like, kids nowadays, they are growing up in a digital world, like in a way that we had a lot of like tangible stuff growing up. Now it's almost just like everything's on your phone. You don't need a wallet. You don't need a gaming system. You don't need anything. It's just your phone, right?
Yeah, exactly. It's crazy how mobile gaming is like you have your console in your pocket now. But I think with the digital items, I would personally much more be rather to pay for an item if it was a collectible or if it was a blockchain item, because I play a lot of games and I've paid got those jewels or whatever it is and to get some advantage in the game, but then I stopped playing the game and I don't really get anything out of it over time. Adding this extra layer of ownership could really be powerful.
Yeah, I think that personally, especially, I'm a gamer. I'm not like hardcore because I'm a very busy dude. I mean, crypto is like my life. But at the same time, gamers are serious, man. And they're putting in their time, right? So, time is money. Well, time is also my achievements, right? And if I don't feel that I'm being reciprocated for what I'm doing, it's frustrating.
It's not even being reciprocated. It's more like you're putting all this time into the game, and nowadays games are so social and so interactive and so realistic that this is sort of your second life. It's your another part of your identity if you're gaming a lot. You have your own friends, a whole different group of friends in the game than in real life, and you want to persist that over time. You want to grow that identity and own that.
Yeah, now that you actually said that, you kind of made me think of that like Ready Player One kind of concept. And I know you guys are always talking about this sort of multiverse. Now, you've linked up with a lot of different developers right now. What are your like plans on this? Like eventually, this whole thing. I mean, okay, here's my question. I understand you could reach out to the smaller developers and stuff, but what do these big guys say? Like the guys that are on top right now, are they going to realistically give up that kind of power over their games just because it seems to be a fad? That do you really see them moving in that direction? Giving up that type of control?
Yeah, I do, but it'll require new kinds of games to be created. I mean, if we talk with big players right now, they already have established games and things like that, and they haven't seen this sort of risky new technology in action yet. They haven't seen what kind of players they can get. They haven't seen the gameplay mechanics they can use. A lot of the smaller guys are willing to experiment and be the first adopters of this technology. And we'll see some new gameplay formats come out of this because it's a whole new dark area of game design that hasn't ever been explored. So I'm very certain that bigger game designers will see the benefits of this and start playing with it.
And I would imagine that there would sort of be a lot of people that sort of don't see the valuableness of it, I suppose, because it was funny. We were talking on my channel the other day, and there was this article from the 70s. And it was like Milton Bradley saying that video games were just a fad. And after they go away, everyone's going to go back to playing their board games because everyone's going to get tired of watching the ping pong ball go back and forth on the screen. Fast forward, $135+ billion industry as far as I checked. That I think the last time they checked was 2018. You probably know better than I do. But what about these game developers? Okay, so you're trying to build out this network, but I would imagine a lot of them are not familiar with working with blockchain. Are you finding an interest? And also, like, what's the learning curve for these guys? I guess this is sort of a segue into your SDK too. So
sure. So I think that blockchain is good for a lot of games, but obviously there's going to be games that don't make sense for it. You don't have to put every single game on the blockchain. There's games that are single player adventure games you might not want to put on the blockchain. Flappy Birds you might not want to put on the blockchain. But we do have multiplayer, or kind of like a networked game called Age of Rust. So they're trying to do Myst in space on the blockchain too, and using the blockchain as puzzles. And then we have Bitcoin Hodler, which is basically like an evolved Flappy Bird, and it's on the blockchain too, and you can have blockchain characters and things like that. I don't think that it's just going to take over every single type of gameplay. It's going to be very impactful in the industry though, and it's pretty easy to integrate actually. So we can get into the SDK and how easy it is to use. Earlier this month, March 14th, and that means we launched our platform, we launched the SDK, we launched the updates to the wallet that connect everything together. And now any game developer can just download the Unity asset for free on the asset store, and they'll see a visual interface pop up where they can just start creating items just by typing the name in, how many they want to make, hit the mint button, and there you go. It creates the item for you.
So would you say you guys are like sort of trying to be like the WordPress almost of being able to build? I mean, is it like a platform as a service kind of thing? Because you have the Enjin Platform, right?
Yeah.
So how does that sort of relate to the SDK in a way?
You do have the full power to go down deep into the nuts and bolts and use just the code, use the smart contracts directly, use all that stuff directly. But what we're giving people is this large platform of tools so that you don't have to build all this blockchain stuff. I mean, that's the whole point of this. So people can focus on their game, just install the SDK and all the software, and all that stuff, listening to events from the blockchain when an item gets moved or created. That all gets sent to the game engine automatically, notifies the wallet when you've received an item. All those things are happening in the background without you needing to touch anything. So yeah, we have a platform as a service for doing those mobile notifications and linking the games to the mobile wallets, all that stuff. But you can always go direct as deep as you want into the code and just do it all raw. So yeah.
So you guys like pretty much have the full spectrum then, one-stop shop for
Yeah, so with Unity, we have just a pure code SDK. You don't have to use the visual editor. It's just sort of like an easy way to get into it, to start understanding how to use it, right? The first thing you see is, you see the list of your items and create new items, and you see your wallet balance and things like that. But you can go straight into the code, just type in a line to say transfer item from player A to player B, and boom, there it goes.
How's the feedback been from any of the developers?
Well, I mean, we've been working with developers for a good while now, probably 6 or 8 months that they've been building on the SDK in beta form. Mm-hmm. So, in the beginning, they found all sorts of problems where, they didn't understand how it worked. They ran into all sorts of hitches that hurdles they had to get over. But we fixed all those things. We took their feedback in, and now it's going pretty well. I mean, I'm seeing new games pop up. I mean, even just today, one called, what is it called? Forgotten Artifacts. Someone just posted a video of this sort of Diablo 3 style game, all 3D, and they just took our plugin, they just put it into their game, and boom, it's connected to the blockchain.
That's awesome, man. That's the beauty of just putting it out there, like that's the whole idea behind this whole like open source concept. Actually, I wanted to ask you, speaking of, some people might be concerned, like, what is like your relationship with Ethereum? I mean, because how there's some sort of companies that, they use it, but they don't really. I mean, are you guys like, do you speak with the core, or how does that go? What do they think of the product?
Yeah, we spoke to the Ethereum Foundation. They're really nice people. They actually helped us with kind of a charity thing that we did for the SENS Research Foundation.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah. So they're great. I mean, they support us. There's no like deep partnerships or anything like that. But the Ethereum community is really run by just the people in general, and we're getting some goodwill from putting out the ERC-1155 standard. Hopefully we're going to get some more goodwill by putting out some new smart contracts. We're doing this new thing we're going to put up soon called Enjin Labs, where if we have some cool ideas of, improvements we can do or cool smart contracts that'll help people, we're just going to create them and put them out there on our GitHub, and, fully open source. People can use them in their games. So we're going to have one contract coming out in a little bit here. So that's pretty fun. Just a repository of cool experiments. And I mean, we've had people from the Ethereum team actually audit some of our code, and they were pretty impressed. So
Awesome. Yeah, see, that's the downfall to, the average person is when it comes to the tech. I mean, I couldn't tell you how many white papers I read last year, and like, what did it matter?
yeah,
What did it matter, right? I mean, can you
yeah,
execute? I don't know. Clearly you guys are actually going out there and doing it. And like you said, you actually had just brought up Age of Rust before, and I noticed that they did have that simple integration, which I think is cool, have it right in the palm of your hands and everything like that. I wanted to actually talk about the wallet because it's actually one of arguably the best wallet out there. I mean, I don't want to like whatever,
thank
but
you.
it's a very, very nice wallet, very nice interface. I love the features. I've used it myself, and yeah, I wanted to talk about it because not only is it well, let's talk about the security actually, because you guys have you
Yeah.
guys took a lot of steps to make sure that this thing is safe, right?
Yeah, I mean, when we started making the wallet, we were thinking, we need a wallet to show people's gaming items. But then we decided, why not just build, we have to build Ethereum integration anyways. Why don't we just build a full wallet? So we put in Ethereum, Litecoin, Bitcoin, all the ERC-20 tokens. And then we realized, wow, we were looking at some other wallets out there, and we realized, wow, there's some real security problems here with these wallets. A lot of them are using the same kind of core cryptography libraries and private key storage libraries. And those are not as secure as you might think. If you read the memory of the app and running on your phone, if it's a rooted phone, another app can actually steal the private keys. So we just went full, crazy, redesigning the way a wallet's built on Android and iOS. So we do things like prevent screenshots from being taken. We wipe out the memory immediately as soon as the key is needed. It gets decrypted, then it gets wiped from memory immediately. We developed our own secure keyboard so that nothing can keylog anyone typing in their password. And we have all sorts of security features that we use, like dual encryption and all sorts of other stuff to make sure that this is, in my opinion, the most secure wallet on mobile.
Yeah, I mean, personally, I'm not like a big, I don't really like spend much, honestly. I'm always at my house, so I have like a lot of my stuff just on cold storage, really. But,
Yeah.
definitely like for going out, like I'm actually like, I want to try this the next time I go out because I really haven't like ever really taken my crypto on a mobile wallet with me anywhere I've gone.
Oh, you
But
should.
yeah.
It's great. There's actually businesses that accept crypto, and it's kind of surreal paying for stuff.
That's awesome though. That's how you get adoption going, man. But yeah, first of all, I just wanted to give you a massive just shout out on the wallet. It's really beautiful, and I've tried a lot. I pretty much try, as a crypto channel, I'll just try products and just see how they are. You know what I mean? So I do have to say I was very impressed with that, and like I said, I did like the secure keyboard. That's cool. That's cool with the key logging. That's a big issue. Because I do know people get very concerned over mobile phones. You know what I mean? They're very different from, I guess, like, because I use Mac, so iOS is very different from, what I use on my desktop. So it's,
Yeah, well, as long as you don't have a rooted phone, if you put our wallet on there, we've been fully penetration tested and audited by a security firm, or security, and they weren't able to find any critical issues, any way that anyone can get data or private keys or anything on the wallet.
wow. That's pretty cool, man. And I do appreciate that you guys are very transparent. I mean, you're the type of project that'll be like, hey, we tried something, it didn't work, but we're working on it, and now it's better. You see a lot. Well, I don't want to name names, but some projects will just basically ignore a bug or something, because they're worried about it. And I've always appreciated that transparency about you guys. And one of the other things too, inside the wallet, you actually have EnjinX. You can check that out. Now, you guys built that, right? And that. Now, I've never like sat there and just like push buttons at the same time, but from what I'm hearing, it's incredibly fast compared to something like maybe Etherscan or something like that.
Yeah, so we're pulling in blocks. On average, we're pulling them in a few blocks faster than Etherscan. So new transactions, new blocks come in, we're first. But that's not really the point of EnjinX. EnjinX has a massive vision. So we're building a platform for developers, game developers, and also, when people are building games, people are going to want to build web apps, other applications that hook into those games, hook into those items, marketplaces, whatever they're building, showing off their characters, things like that. So we needed a really powerful backend, a really powerful API for anyone who wants to use this blockchain data to get it in a really easy format. So we're building a really powerful API in the back end of EnjinX. It's already being used by the wallet, but we're going to eventually have it out for the public. And I think it's going to transform the way that people grab this blockchain data and consume it in web apps or whatever it is. It lets you grab bulk data in many less transactions, less HTTP transactions. And yeah, it's just going to be a very powerful way to access all that blockchain data. And then finally, in the front end of our blockchain explorer, it's going to be a way for you to see what items were transferred, what items you own on your account, see visual pictures, eventually 3D models and things like that.
It's just almost like a constant updated time stream of just everything, and I would imagine that the bigger the multiverse gets, the more that, if you're involved in certain guilds, you can kind of check on other guys, see what they're doing, see what's going on, and it would really keep you up to date. And like you said, I guess from what you're saying, it is more than an explorer. It almost could potentially have a social aspect to it as well, in a way.
Yeah, I mean, imagine, let's say 10 years down the line, everybody has AR goggles on, or I don't know what the world will look like, but,
Wally, we're all just, so.
Yeah, instead of having a phone in your pocket, you'll have, the games there in front of you, and you'll be trading things just by, snapping your fingers or telling a command to your AI assistant or whatever the world looks like in that future time. And you want to be able to access this data, see what's going on between games, between platforms. So we're just trying to do that in EnjinX, and it'll be cross-blockchain compatible and show all that data easily for users.
Very cool. Very cool, man. So yeah, I mean, I think we covered a lot today. I mean, I don't want to keep you for too long. I did want to ask you just general question. Where do you really see the future of, I guess, gaming? We could start there in general, but then also, blockchain and gaming.
Yeah, I see that from now on, as these games start coming out, people are actually going to have an identity in a game, and they're going to have it for the rest of their lives. They can, 20 years down the line, they'll still have that history, that rich history of all the games that they played, all the people that they communicated and traded with over time. You'll be able to have all your items and characters and things in your sort of vault or blockchain wallet or whatever it is. And you'll be able to use that over time and go in between multiple games, have ownership of these things, sell them, maybe make some money on those things. I think game developers will start making new kinds of games. There's going to be new gameplay that no one's ever thought of. We'll see that happening, and you'll be able to jump between multiple games on multiple platforms and persist some of that data around. So it's going to be great.
I'm excited. I mean, it's such an honor to just be alive during this time. I mean, not just with the gaming, with everything, supply chain, logistics, and just all the stuff that you could do with this great technology. I mean, you have to take it seriously, even when you're seeing guys like, even Ripple started a gaming fund. You know what I mean? Like, everyone is seeing the, the need for this type of stuff. I had even spoke to, Wax on the channel as well about what they were doing. They actually spoke very highly of you guys. So, it seems like, what I like about this little sector is it seems like there's no one really fighting. Like, it seems like the gaming industry seems to be trying, like, whereas other industries seem to be competing with each other, the gaming sector seems to be trying to work together to build.
Well, I mean, obviously in the blockchain space, there's a little bit of competition. Even in the gaming space, various companies are trying to put out different games.
Yeah.
Fortnite and all that stuff. But I mean, what I felt at GDC was, it was just like a retreat where everybody went and tried to share ideas. We talked to all sorts of different people from all the spectrum of blockchain to gaming, traditional, and everyone's just trying to figure out what the new tools are, what the new technology is to make cooler games, and that's really cool. In the end, we're all fighting to make a better world, to make gaming cooler, more fun, and since this is a way of communicating, interacting as well for people, especially these new generations, everyone from millennials to the new generations, this is what people are using to interact and make friends and socialize. So it's really powerful to have this tool now.
Absolutely, man. So basically, what can we expect from you guys, like short term, long term? Without, obviously, I know there's certain things you can't say. We do have the Samsung partnership confirmed. We can at least say that publicly. Yep. But I mean, I know there's certain things we can't go into. But like, what can we expect, sort of?
So coming out really soon, we're going to be releasing our ERC-1155 update on EnjinX. So finally, you'll be able to go to the Blockchain Explorer, see all the items that you're holding, see who melted and minted items, see all that rich data. You can go look at one game and see their entire database of weapons or items that they have. So we're releasing that next, and then we're going to have more blockchains, more exchanges for the wallet and for EnjinX. And then soon, hopefully in a few months, we're going to try to be pushing out Efinity, which is our scaling platform. That means you'll be able to, you'll be able to interact with all these games very cheaply or possibly for free.
Yeah, definitely. I was going to bring that up. We got on such a roll though with the other stuff. Absolutely. Yeah, there's so much is happening though. I really do appreciate you stopping by. It's incredible the difference between the first interview and the second interview, the things that you guys have just worked on in that short amount of time. It's very, very impressive, but also you have been at this for a while. And the other thing too that's pretty cool is you guys have that sort of adaptive sort of Darwinism approach. I mean, I can only imagine what it was like when you started out 10 years ago. I mean, the where you thought it was going probably wasn't where it is now. So, I mean, is it moving? Can we keep up with it? Like, it just seems like it's moving so fast,
Yeah, it was crazy back then. People were making clan websites and, custom building every clan website for their clans, and MMORPGs were just like World of Warcraft was new, and the biggest game out there, Minecraft wasn't even out when we started. So a lot has changed. Now, when we started Enjin, blockchain was not even a thing. Like Satoshi's white paper was just coming out. So now so much is changing. I see this whole blockchain thing as like the new form of a new evolution of the internet. It lets people actually own things, transact value, have ownership of their data, have ownership of their freedom of speech, things like that. You need that in a world where everything is digital. You're kind of digitizing your mind, and now you can actually have trust that things will behave in some way. You don't have to rely on a company, a company's rules or whatever. You can actually rely on some smart contract rules that are fair for everybody.
Exactly, man. And I mean, even just like what we're doing now, as simple as it is, two guys talking on the internet and a bunch of people are watching, that's crazy. You know what I mean? Like even just the fact that you could just do stuff like this, like you said, they probably haven't even scratched the surface of the things that we can actually do in the future. And I'm certainly excited for that. So thank you so much. I really appreciate you coming on the channel today, man.
It was a lot of fun. Thanks.
Yeah, absolutely. And you are welcome back anytime for an update. You know that. So, guys, if you hadn't had a chance to check out Enjin Coin yet, definitely have a look at that. And once again, man, thank you very much.
Thanks a lot.
Thanks so much for everyone that stuck around until the end. I hope you guys enjoyed the interview. If you haven't had a chance to check out Enjin, definitely do. I got links below for all of their social media. And that is it for today's video. Thank you so much, guys, for everyone that's been liking, subscribing, and commenting. You guys rock. You're the reason that I do this every single day. That being said, my name is K-Dub. This is Crypto Zombie. Until next time, stay crypto and peace out.